The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group and Gonzalez. Total Car Care, tire shop and automotive repair in Baton Rouge. Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We're at the Marriott of Baton Rouge on a Sunday. I'm going to say what day it is. We're doing this on a Sunday afternoon. We're even missing the Saints game. I don't know if that's good or bad at this point. I'm a tired Matthew fan. I want him to win, but we've got a great guest today. Actually, a father and son, an ex-LSU basketball player, Clarence Ceasar. If you are over 35, you've got to remember Clarence Ceasar. I started in the media when he started from Iowa, Louisiana, to go to LSU and was one of the great defensive players of all time for Dale Brown. Well, his son CJ is also going to join us later in the show from Iowa, from UL of Lafayette. He's in the portal. He's one of the top safeties in the portal. 6'3", 207, 208, can run like a cornerback. We'll be back in just a moment.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. I want to go ahead and introduce Clarence Ceasar. Clarence, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, man, thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming all the way from Lafayette.
Lake Charles.
So you live in Lake Charles again? Yes. But your son lives in Lafayette.
Right, yeah.
CJ. And we got to give Lake Charles a little publicity real quick. I know I talked about Seafood Palace on Enterprise. They got Daryl's Po' Boys.
Yeah.
You know all the eateries over there.
Yeah, it's very few I don't know about. But those two.
Those are legendary.
Those are legendary.
Clarence, I grew up watching you play. We're going to get to your son in a minute, but we've got to talk about a little LSU football and basketball.
Okay.
First of all, before I ask you about the Heisman and Jaden Daniels, you still talk to Dale Brown to this day, your ex-coach.
I do, till this day, yes. It's getting to that point, he's getting a little older, but he still knows all his players, he's still sharp as a tack. So he's still on top of things.
Every now and then I'll sit by him at the games. I haven't this year, but still very sharp, and like I said, one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
Oh yeah, one of the smartest men I've been around.
You told me he cares about his players. Like, he's not done with his players when they're done, like a lot of guys.
Not at all. He encourages guys to go back to school, finish if you haven't finished. He remembers everybody's birthday. I get an email every birthday. Every night that I get a book in the mail.
Wow.
And yeah, he's one of those guys that truly, if he recruited you, he truly cares about you. I mean, basketball is truly a family with the old guys. You know, I can't speak for current or past, but with Dale, it's truly a family.
When's your birthday?
February 17th. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm in June. I get one more year older in June. It's coming out, not too far, but so CJ's going to join us in a minute. Before we get to talking about your son, Jaden Daniels, quarterback, LSU, Heisman Trophy winner. Were you like me watching TV going, man, I hope they don't give it to Nix, or I hope they don't give it to Penix? Because I truly believe Jaden was the best quarterback player in the country.
I feel the same way. I think he was the best outstanding college football player, but a lot of people get caught up the best guy on the best team.
Right.
And that's not what the Heisman is. The Heisman is for the best college football player. Not your favorite, not the best guy on an undefeated team, not the best guy on the best team, but the best college football player.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to start bragging about your son, CJ, who's in the portal. The biggest safety from Louisiana in the portal.
You think?
Just so LSU fans know that.
Hey.
And 6'3", you don't see a lot of kids 6'3", 207 that run legitimate 4-5. They can play all the corner spots, strong and free safety, and nickel corner. And LSU, they need spots, all of those. We'll be right back with more with Clarence Ceasar, former LSU basketball player, and his son will be joining us later. CJ, we'll be right back.
Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group and Gonzalez.
Welcome back to the Sports Scouting Report podcast. I want to thank the Marriott of Baton Rouge, Ralph Nate. Thank you, man. Holy Cross grad from New Orleans, letting us use one of the ballrooms here at the Marriott in Baton Rouge, right off the Interstate College Drive. Big sports people here, by the way. They love high school football, basketball, and all sports. Clarence, Ceasar, your son's going to be joining us in a minute, CJ.
Right.
When he was coming out of Iowa, not Iowa, when he was coming out of Iowa, high school, he had the big offers. And I remember you even calling me as a dad, and it didn't take me long to put the two names together. And I remember he was trying to decide to leave the state, big offers, Kansas and some other bigger ones. And he decided to stay in state, go to UL.
Mm-hmm.
Missed most of this past year, redshirt sophomore year, so there's 2 years left.
Right.
Everybody that's ever come out of UL as a transfer has made it big at LSU.
Yeah, so forth.
Lacey, all the different players that had a DB, 2 years ago that came out.
Gardner?
Gardner.
His name? Yeah.
He was a 6'2" corner, 210.
Right.
Your son's very similar built to him. And I remember watching CJ at Iowa as a corner at 205 his senior year at 6'2" and some change. And I'm like, whoa, that guy looks like a senior in college. And I'm watching, Iowa film. And then I realized that's your son, and you played at basketball at LSU. And I'm like, man, you can tell this guy's in a sports family. You can tell he knows the game. He can run.
Right.
Did a 49 in track. Tell everybody what he ran a 49 in.
Well, he ran a 49 as a sophomore. He was low 48s, 47s by the time he left school. So he's most definitely a track guy. Well, he's a football player with track speed.
I want people to know in Baton Rouge that are LSU fans in the state, because you never know where a kid might want to go, but tell everybody the passion you have for LSU still, not just basketball, but the school. You told me you're on campus all the time.
Yeah,
Your son being in the portal right now.
I love my school, and my son is in the portal, and all father's dream, but at the same time, he's gonna do what's best for him, and whoever contacts him, that's who he's gonna talk to, and hopefully things go certain ways, but it's all about who makes contact with him or who allows him to come in for a visit and workout.
I think you told me Les Miles had already left Kansas when they offered him, right?
Kansas State.
Kansas State,
Right.
Which is big time college. That's a top 25 school.
Mm-hmm.
How close was he going to Kansas State out of high school?
I think he entertained it, but I don't, he's born and bred Louisiana. And all kids have the hopes and dreams and aspirations put on that yellow helmet. But, he had multiple offers. He had about 25 offers. And he graduated at such a crazy time. The world was actually shut down. He graduated from COVID.
Yeah.
And his spring was canceled, his junior season. Those kids that graduated in 21, they didn't have a spring. They didn't have a summer. All the elite camps was canceled, and invite-only camps were canceled. And he only had a half a football season because of the hurricanes that hit, Calcasieu Parish.
Yeah.
So, it was just one thing after another for that senior class. So when we started talking about offers, Coach Napier and UL was really hot at the time. And it was to me, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking coaches and programs at that time with the offers he had, Raging Cajuns, that was a smart place to go.
As a player, LSU needs safeties and corners.
Yeah.
There's a big need for them right now.
Right.
And your son is the biggest DB, the most athletic DB in the portal right now from Louisiana. Just be honest, defensive back-wise. Every DB that Coach Kelly has taken from the portal from Louisiana has panned out. Like we talked about already, they've taken 2 kids from UL already that played with your son.
Right.
What do you think it'll come down to, even if, because there's a good chance a lot of big schools are going to offer, LSU's probably going to offer. Your son just got in the portal.
Right, been in portal about 5 days.
Were you going to wait to see how many come in and offer? How do you want to?
Well, it's really up to him. I'm here for support and guidance. It's no one's plan to sit in the portal long.
Yeah.
Because, from what they say, the longer you sit, the worse it is. So it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of like who contacts him, who builds a rapport with him, who gets it going, and we'll go from there. I mean, I'm not going to make the choice for him, because I didn't make the choice for him in high school.
Yeah, and like I told you the other day, I think LSU, the Alabamas, all the Floridas, all the top schools, they let about 10 days go by to see who all is going to be in it, and then make decisions. And I know it's going to be coming pretty soon, and the show will be out before then, thank God.
Okay.
I know we'll have it out. This is on a Sunday. We're going to have it. If you're watching, it's coming out the coming week. And I look forward to having CJ come on. And any last thoughts about LSU and the fans? And I know a bunch of people wanted me to ask you about LSU basketball right now. Before we go, what do you think of LSU? I think you told me off the air a couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of years away, with the right recruits and just building it. The foundation is the most important part. So your foundation is strong, anything you put on is going to stand.
And like you said, get some of those parade McDonald's All-Americans again.
Yeah, you can get you a couple of those and convince them to stay in school. See, guys don't stay in school like in my day.
Right.
Guys get in there and they get out.
Right. The late Wayne Sims, Shaq even stayed 3 years.
Right.
That's unheard of.
Yes, yeah. If you have the ability to go pro, it's unheard of. You stay in 3 years.
Clarence, thank you for coming down.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Man.
That was Clarence Ceasar. We'll be right back with CJ, his son, and talk about the portal and what he's looking for college. We'll be right back.
Total Car Care, tire shop and automotive repair in Baton Rouge.
Hi everyone, Lieber Keene. I hope you enjoyed Clarence Ceasar, great ex-LSU basketball player for Dale Brown and the Tigers. Remember, he stole many passes on defense and had many beautiful dunks. Vernell Singleton, Clarence Ceasar, Jerry Reynolds were the three guys that I grew up liking a lot. And Ethan Martin, who was right before Clarence, was a phenomenal player. Leonard Mitchell, just some of my favorite players, obviously Shaq and Chris Jackson, Ricky Blanton, the late Wayne Sims. I mean, we go on and on with all the players that came out of LSU basketball with Dale Brown and all the countries in the United States and all over. He almost got Yo Ming to sign with LSU at one time and all these other great players. But without waiting any longer, I want to introduce Clarence Ceasar's son, CJ, who's a defensive back. He spent 2 years at UL in Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. Was set to start the whole year this past year, but got hurt. And he's healthy now, and he's in the portal, trying to consider where he's going to go. He's 6'3", 207 pounds, and can still run a 4.5 in the 40 very easily. CJ, is that right? Is all that stuff true?
4.5 a little slow.
You a little quicker?
Yeah.
Tell everybody your real time.
I'm probably 4.4, 4.3, somewhere around there.
At 207? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. I'm right.
You still do the 4.3, 4.39?
No, gotta see who get out there.
Okay.
4.4 for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Do you still do, I know you were a great track participant in high school at Iowa.
Yes.
You still go to the track and do anything? You still do?
I don't run. I don't necessarily go to the track, but I'll run most
Right.
definitely. Run around Lafayette. If I have some pastime to do.
So how easy is it for you to run a mile? Like me, it'd take 5 days
5 days.
and a rest. I mean, I maybe a couple of laps and I'm walking.
A mile. I don't know.
Easy?
I play football, so
That's nothing.
Yeah. No, football. On the football field, I don't run a mile.
No, I mean, if you want to go run a mile, like just for fun.
That's gonna be easy.
And you're 207 pounds. 210 now almost?
Yes,
when you
sir.
play? Now, you got hurt, but you were slated to start.
Well, not necessarily start. The whole reason why I'm in the port right now is because, the position that I feel like I'm best at, to lay all my attributes on the field, use all my attributes on the field, I wasn't playing that well, so I'm in the portal now trying to, be more of a Swiss Army knife. I can play anywhere in the secondary,
Right.
so, it's limited to me just to one position.
You were going to move to linebacker, right?
Yes, sir. They had me playing outside linebacker, more like a big nickel. I didn't get to play man, and I just played a little bit of zone, mostly just on the line for the run.
Well, it's so hard to find a big guy in the slot to be a nickel on a guy 6', 190, and you're 6'3", 207, 208, and you can run 4.3, 4.4. I mean, it's just, there aren't a lot of kids like you out there in the portal from Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
You were offered by 25 colleges out of high school, and your dad, Kansas State, was your was the competition, but you chose to go to UL over Kansas State out of high school.
Yes, sir. You know, when I was graduating, COVID really, slowed a lot of things down. I wasn't able to go on none of my official visits or to go see the other colleges I was offered. UL being in my backyard, it was just easy to drive 45 minutes and watch a game. And Coach Tony Napier, he was one at the time. So
A lot of the coaches left at UL since you signed.
yes, sir.
And talked to your dad, and that had a lot to do with you being in the portal.
Yes, sir.
New guys, new coaches that you didn't know, new philosophy. And that's kind of the reason you're in. That's a good reason for kids to do that. Your dad played basketball at LSU. Obviously, you get this all the time.
Yes, sir.
But what is it like to watch your dad on old highlight reels dunking the basketball as good as any of them?
Well, I tell him all the time, if you want to play one-on-one, you can just go in the yard and play one-on-one. You don't have to play me anymore. He brags all the time. He can still shoot. I don't got a jump shot like he does, but
Now, he's almost 6'8", right?
that doesn't matter.
And you're 6'3", so you still...
That doesn't matter.
Dad's like, we're going to go get the basketball court ready when we get home. He might let you win sometimes, though, right?
He won't play me. He's
Still competitive? Your dad's still competitive?
Of
Yeah.
course. It can be cards, it can be dominoes. It's still competitive,
Your dad can still hit the threes? He can still shoot the threes? Y'all still got the
The
goals?
jumper, that's most remember. The jumper don't go nowhere.
Did y'all have like the neighborhood basketball goal for a lot of kids, like Ron?
We definitely have a ball in the yard. Me and my brother would play all the time, but shoot, he would never play me.
Come on.
He probably played me one time, but he can shoot. So I'm more of I lay it up. I don't shoot.
So you're in the portal.
Yes, sir.
If LSU came calling, what would that be like for you?
It would be a great conversation. Give them an opportunity to play for them. I don't really have the game reps or the game film out there because I didn't get to really play as much, but you can definitely call and work me out anywhere in the country. It doesn't matter where it's at. It doesn't matter if it's LSU, doesn't matter if it's Texas, it doesn't matter if it's A&M or anywhere in the country.
Your dad sent me some film of you in practice with UL in the summer before you got hurt. And I'm going to tell you, man, you look like Chad Jones at LSU. You remember Chad, right? Who played?
Chad Jones.
Might be right before your time, but Chad was 6'3", 215, and played corner, strong and free, and could run like you. And you just don't see that many big DBs that can do it flawlessly.
Yes, sir.
And you said you like Miami, and you like
Yeah.
Baylor, Dave Aranda, you like
Yes, sir.
Baylor, and maybe Texas.
Maybe. Shoot. If anybody wants to see me in person or anything, you can just come to work out, and I'll show you that I'm not lying. It's true.
And you'd welcome a workout from Kelly and those guys,
Yes,
right?
sir. Of course.
Any day, any time, right? Name the place. Huh?
I got my piece in the truck. What's up?
Besides your dad, who's your biggest idol LSU-wise? Is there another, like football or basketball?
Well, probably Patrick Peterson. You know what I'm saying?
Still playing.
Oh yeah.
Steelers.
That's what I watch. Really. Honey Badger for sure.
Still playing.
Oh, yeah.
They're in their 30s and still doing it. I think Patrick's like 34, 35.
Really?
Yeah, still runs 4.4. It doesn't run 4.3 anymore. And I think the Steelers moved him to nickel or strong safety. But for being 35, it's 6'1", 210. It's pretty awesome to be in the league starting, right?
Shoot, he's gonna leave a very long time.
My Steelers need to start winning. Oh, they don't look good at all. I go back to Terry Bradshaw before you were born. Your dad knows what I'm talking about. Terry Bradshaw, Mel Blunt, Mean Joe Green, and all those guys. Any final thoughts? Anybody you'd like to thank where you are today, CJ?
I just like to thank God for just blessing me to be here. Shoot, I'm glad to have two parents, that raised me and put me in front of the doors that I've opportunity to go through. So I just want to thank the man above most of all.
And you got 2 years eligibility left in the portal. 6'3", 207 pounds, still can run 4.4 in the 40, and he'll take a workout any day, any major college program. Would be a steal, I think. That's why I had him come on. I had Clarence came down so we could do this show and let everybody know you got a big time player right here in Louisiana if LSU needs a safety or corner.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you, CJ.
Nice to meet you too.
Appreciate it, man. I want to thank Clarence Ceasar and CJ Ceasar, his son. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And our next show we're going to film is Doug Ireland, who works with the Louisiana Hall of Fame, and also the Journal. We're going to explain the Journal, all the parishes they're in North Louisiana. A good friend of mine, former sports information director, seems like 50 years at Northwestern State, retired from that. But I call him Mr. Natchitoches, Louisiana. You want to know something at Natchitoches, he'll tell you, but we'll look forward to seeing you on the next show. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.